Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's B from Kongs or Us, and welcome to The Next Level. This is my weekly podcast show where I bring you next level projects, things, community members that I believe are truly, absolutely next level. And today's episode, if you couldn't tell by the description, the picture is gonna be one of the most amazing mods that you can do to your virtual pinball machine, which is adding force feedback, aka solenoids, into your device. It's one of those things that if you're building a virtual pinball cab and you don't have that force feedback, it's something that you are truly missing from the pinball experience. We know that physical pinball is a amalgamation of sounds and sights and things, and that physical haptic feel of a solenoid just feels so good when you're hitting a flipper. And in the Vpin world, the only way we can replicate that is by building our own, direct output feedback device kits and things. And so today's guest, I have an awesome lineup for you, is an amazing guy that created his own solution for putting together these simple DIY kits that anyone can take and you can put it and install into your machines. And there's several different options, from just doing flipper solenoids to doing a full-on set installation of 8 solenoids plus shake, plus all these other options. But I found them because of a recommendation from somebody in the community that tried it out. So I have a special guest that's going to join us later on. But I also got another tip from somebody else that sent me a link to an eBay listing that had this kit, this solenoid kit, which is a solenoid and a custom printed circuit board that would work with flippers. And I was like, I got to test this out. So I'm going to bring him on right now because again, I'll do a better introduction once we chatting with him, because I have so many questions for him. He is amazing. His name is Mr. Phil Ellis from Cleveland Software Design. Phil, what's going on, man?
Hey, it's going good.
There he is. So first time on my live stream talking to you, but it might not be the last, Phil, because you are a wealth of knowledge so far that I've heard. And you offer some amazing products and services for the Vpin community. But my first question is, people have been asking me, when can they buy it? It's sold out. What happened? Nobody can buy your products. I've been pitching you the last week, and they're like, this guy's sold out. What happened?
They will be back. Don't worry. They will be back. I just have a supply issue. I've got these relays that I depend on for these products, and they're all sold out, And so anyway,
okay.
Yeah, probably in 2 to 3 weeks, I should have them. It sounds like right now it's like August 2nd is when I'm supposed to get those parts in.
There's a lot of people here that crowd text says, I would love to try, but it's out of stock. And it's like, out of stock, womp, womp. So it was a combination between me. I think I have some ability to promote and things, but I was like, man, he sold out quick. I didn't think it was going to be that fast, but it really is a supply thing. But don't fret. We're doing this episode so you can find out what you can do. And then hopefully people can stay tuned to your website, which is the best place to order it. I know I originally put an eBay link, but check out the website, Cleveland Software Design. But tell us a little bit more about your background, on who you are. And, just love to hear about, what this is. Is the Cleveland Software Design? Is this your own kind of side gig? What is Phil Ellis in Cleveland Software Design?
All right, sure. Yeah. So Cleveland Software Design is really my side gig. Okay. But I have a few side things that I work on. This is one of the more recent ones. So full time, what I do, I'm actually a mathematician by trade. Nice. And then, or by education, actually. And then my full-time job is in IT, where I work with Amazon Web Services mostly. Nice. But yeah, as for the side business, that's what we're talking about today. All these,
absolutely,
all these cool solenoids and virtual pinball. I'm a huge pinball fan. I have been my whole life since I was a little kid, and found myself recently in the virtual pinball world. So this is where all this started from.
Yeah. And so when you started diving into virtual pinball, that was only a few months ago, you were telling me, right? That you saw the current way to run visual pinball or any of these systems, but to get feedback, you were looking at existing solutions. So tell me about how you explored the existing world of how to wire up solenoids, and then what are the issues you came across that made you develop this?
Yeah, sure. So I started off with real pinball machines, just so you know, too. Like I owned a bunch of real pinball machines.
Awesome.
And then I always, in the back of my mind, was like, I need to try this visual pinball thing. And I finally bought one, and I was amazed at how realistic it was. But of course, the one thing, just like you said, that it needs is that feedback. It's super important, I think, to get the full experience.
Absolutely.
And so, that's what I started looking into. and I looked at like contactors. And that was one of the options, but the contactors just are kind of like a click, you know, you can't feel it.
Yeah, I have to say, because like the big recommendations were using contactors, and I bought a set of them. They're expensive, and then I tried out yours, which are these are car starter solenoids, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I was like, what the heck? That's a 24-volt contactor. And I got this 12-volt solenoid that's like pounding. So we'll do some demos later between the differences. We'll see some differences later. But man, these really pack a punch. So keep going.
There's a big piece of metal in them that hits the top of that contactor. So it makes a pretty big, you can feel it for sure.
Yeah.
And I think like they pull like 4 amps. So total power, right, is like when these are on, it's like 40 some watts. Compared to those contactors, it's only like those things are like a couple watts. So the difference in power is substantial. Yeah.
You're making me regret my purchasing decisions, man. But it was all right. So you're wiring things up. You're using the Sane Smart board, right? So for folks that don't know, there's a couple of different devices you can use to control the solenoids, and one of the easiest devices is a Sane Smart board. That's a USB interface, but didn't work out for you, right?
Yeah, and really it was just like, hey, I want to get started. I don't want to buy like, you know, I don't want to spend $500 on this thing initially. So I bought the Sane Smart board. It's really inexpensive. But yeah, I had issues with it, right? Because they're physical relays and they're clicking all the time. So there's tons of arcing going in that relay. And I knew it's like, this thing is not going to last very long. That was one of the issues I ran into. The other one was the solenoids themselves, where they get super hot when you use them, especially on the flippers. So the feedback is really great, but after, you know, just playing them for 10, 15 minutes, they'll be like burning your hand if you touch them, which obviously they're not designed for that. So I knew that was going to be a problem. So then that's where I came up with these couple of different solutions, which we can talk about if you want to.
Yeah. So here's what the mod is for people that don't understand kind of what we're talking about. When you have a couple of ways to create flipper feedback. One is to use, a feedback device like the Sane Smart board, which is going to trigger your computer to know when to hit the flipper button based on the programming. That's all software designed. And then this solution that Phil developed is a direct input from your flipper button to trigger this solenoid, while then putting the input to your PC to do it. So this will flip every time you press the button. So this is a nicer, simpler design where you have to do zero configuration in any of your pinball settings. So this will work with like essentially anything. It doesn't have to be pinball even. It could be whatever you use the flipper buttons for, but it's gonna work. So that's the difference between this one and the future kits we're gonna talk about later on. But we have a question here in the chat that asked, any plans to sell unsoldered kits, less work for you? Is that something that you've ever considered putting together more?
Actually,
more DIY kits?
That is what I really want to get to, because, you know, since I do this on the side, I'm like staying up sometimes till 2 a.m. making these kits. And I would love to sell them just like, here's all the parts and the components. And sell them for a lot cheaper. And then it's probably fun for everyone else to make. It was fun for me when I first started, but now I'm making so many, I'm kind of like, this is now just becoming factory work. Like,
well, yeah, when your hobby becomes and it starts to feel like work, it definitely changes the game a little bit for you. And so I'm hoping this is good exposure for you about this product, and you can think about some ways to offer it, because you have some amazing product offerings, not just for this. So tell me about the solutions that you came up with this custom printed board, because this board allowed you to solve some of those problems with the way to wire it up, but also for the heating thing. So can you talk just a little bit about your engineering of the board itself? And then I'm going to show a demo of how to wire it up, just so people can get a better understanding for folks that are watching the stream for the first time on how it works. So do that while I'm wiring it up. So
sure. So the board is, you know, I designed the board in some software, and then I send it to a place called PCBWay. Probably some of you have come across it in the different forums. A lot of people use that PCBWay site.
Nice.
And then they ship me back the raw board. Of course, I got a bunch of components, and I just solder them on there. But the components themselves, like how the board works, is super duper simple. Like, it's a really simple design. And I was actually skeptical as to whether it would work or not, but I bought a bunch of different components and kind of tested it to see which one worked best with these particular solenoids, and found the right components for it. And it works really well. Like it's like, it triggers the solenoid really well. It reduces the heat to the solenoid by like, I think it's like 1/10 of the heat that it would normally get while it's on. So the overall, you know, end goal was met. And and it's also, you know, inexpensive to make, which is great.
Yeah, and since you were new to Visual Pinball, was there any resources that you used to look up the wiring for everything? Did you figure it on your own? Did you use the Pinscape guide that most people look at for wiring, or how did you know how to do the setup? I know you have an electronics background by trade, but I was curious if you use any resources.
I did use obviously some resources, especially with the SaneSmart board, and then you know, I did have a lot of background. I don't think I even found the as crazy as that sounds, I didn't even find that Pinscape instructions until after I'd put my board together.
Really?
But,
okay. Well, kudos for you, because you so the reason why I asked for that, because I'm going to share my screen just for a second so you guys can see just some more of the principles on how it works, because some people were thinking about, can I just wire that one flipper to the solenoid and into the button? But no, because there's different voltages for requiring this to fire versus what the input is that's going into your encoder, right? Because whatever the input is, you don't want to fry that by having the same border. So I wonder if you can techno speak that of why really, that happens while I pull up with the screen.
It's pretty simple, and I have one over here too, which I
show me, like,
here it is. So
I like try to
really,
make it simple. Go ahead.
What's going on here? It's pretty straightforward. You have your button is just activating both of these two relays. These are both relays right here. One of the relays triggers the solenoid. The other relay just closes this branch here, so that when you hook this into your computer, your joystick input or whatever, then it looks like it's closing when you close this one. So that's what's really going on here. And then the 12-volt supply here is isolated completely from the output over here. So that's the goal, is just to isolate the 12-volt supply that's powering the solenoid from the button that's actually like telling your input device that it's getting triggered.
Yeah, and so that's he definitely made it super simple, and this is the Pinscape guide I kept referring to. If you're building your own visual pinball or just virtual pinball cab, like, this guide has a lot of good resource information that explains the how and why, but it's intense. And so this is where I got the recommendation for the contactors, but you can see that this is a recommendation for these starter solenoids that Phil was using. And then way down at the bottom was when I was like, do I want to go down the path of just wiring up my own flipper button to this? And so this is where I was looking at this type of diagram, where you needed the resistor, you needed some like an optocoupler, like the relay that you're using, right? That kind of like changes the voltages from the 12 volt to the other one, and it safely does this. So this was like, all right, I understood this. And then when I saw your design, I was like, you did this on your own board and you didn't even look at this. So first off, right, great that you came up with your own solution and printed it and made it and you're offering it. But for folks that were wanting to do this on your own, I always want to point people back to this, because people ask me about, how do I learn all this stuff? And, you know, there's great resources out there, and there's smart people like Phil that are taking this and then taking it to the next level. So I think that's what I really appreciated about what you did, is because you took some of the design principles and then, you know, made it your own. So so what I have now is how does it get powered? You usually have a power supply that you provide, right? So show people this power supply that you normally hook this up to.
I have one right here. This is a smaller version of the one that I use for the big kit. This is just I think it's like a 50 watt or 60 watt power supply. It's 12 volt supply though. And then of course I got wired on the end the little plug that'll end up going into this guy, which I can show it working even if you want, I guess.
Yeah, you can do it too while I'm doing it mine. So what I'm doing is I'm wiring a button up into mine as well, just because I was just showing people options, because eventually I will do a full simpler tutorial video on this, but I couldn't with mine because I have so much stuff going on in mine that it looks confusing. When you look at my Legends Pinball board, I have so much other things going on in there. I wanted to add this in for the stock Legends Pinball tables versus my PC, because I did a full-on 8-channel relay with 7 contactors and a base shaker for my VPX and FX3 tables, but then it didn't work for the stock table. So the big thing that's been happening, Phil, if you don't know, for virtual pinball, is there's been a lot of commercial cabs that have been coming out recently, right? And so the virtual pinball hobby has exploded, I feel, in the last 6 months to a year. And so more people are getting introduced to it. And then the DIY side of it, like I have recently explored in the recent months, there's so much you can do. But again, the stock games are limited to whatever hardware it's wired into. So this becomes one of those simple mod kits that you can do and then have it work. So
Yeah,
that's kind of why.
I will say this:
we're
if I
interested.
had come across that site before I'd gone down all these paths, I probably would have done just the flipper ones first, the flipper
Oh,
solenoids first. But I
yeah,
actually
instead of the.
started with the full kit,
Oh,
and then
really?
yeah,
Yeah,
and then I was
man.
like, it'd be really nice if people had something that was really what I was thinking. It was like it'd be nice to be able to give people a way to get that flipper feedback, because I figured there's a lot of people who probably want some feedback, but they don't, they're overwhelmed with the software and everything, because it is complicated and you have to spend a bunch of time on it. But so I
Yeah.
was like, if they could just plug something in and get flipper feedback, that'd be great to be able to give that to
Yeah.
them.
I'm just double checking chat to see if there's anything else too. Didn't research this prior. They're so cool. Direct loves the direct connect to flipper solution. Jason was waiting for a Legends Solenoids, but I'm guessing they will be more expensive and not as powerful. So just as far as I know, the at games themselves had research potentially coming out with a future first party solenoid kit. But as far as I know, I don't know if they're going to be releasing anything because of some of the issues with, running solenoids and overheating, like you're saying, Phil, right? So in terms of providing a DIY first party solution, I don't know if you're going to ever get one from Ad Games. So I'm just kind of stating that in terms of what I've seen and what I've heard. So things like this will be probably your best bet in terms of a solution for adding contactors or solenoid feedback into your Legends Pinball, if that's a goal. So thankful for all the tinkers out there. My hat is off to all of you. Great solution for those of us that don't want to mess with programming and just want to have the flipper feedback. All right, so let's do it. I have one wired up. You have one wired up too?
Yeah,
Yeah. All right,
I was
demo
I
it.
was clicking it.
So
Let's see here.
you're clicking it. So let's see.
I have
Let's see how hard it clicks.
I have a shorted out terminal here, and then I
Okay.
can you hear it?
Yeah. Okay. So
Probably barely, but
you're providing directly direct into it. Okay. Cool.
yeah.
So nice. So that's pretty hard. So once you get it plugged into your device. So there's this is like, is this 3D print? What did you get this white part? Is this just a cutted board or
It's just a piece of PVC board that we
PVC?
use.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I
It's
like
like
it.
lightweight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was doing wood at first, but the PVC
Yeah.
is way easier to work with, and it's nicer in a cabinet. I felt like so.
Yeah, so it's a PVC board that this is hooked up to. You just pretty much drill this onto the side. I have them on the side of my board, and one of the things you can do for power, if you're not comfortable with the wiring, even that Phil's doing with the power supply, I took his power connectors and just added it to this 12-volt barrel. And I know some people are more familiar with this, where you can just take a 12-volt power supply. And a Y splitter potentially. So I have a 12-volt, I think it's a 3A 12-volt 3A adapter, and I can Y split it. But this is another way where you can add power to this too, and it'll work just the same as the other way. So I think it'll be up to you on how you wire it, if whatever you're comfortable with. So when I do my tutorial, I might demo this version and the other version so you guys can see it. But once you plug this into the power, all you got to do is plug in that other end to essentially this button right here. Sorry, I'm moving it over here. And then the input, this is where your Legends, the button input is normally going to go to there. And then when you press it, that's what's going to create that little connection. So hopefully that makes sense for people that are seeing it. And because whenever I thought about solenoids, it still felt foreign to me. So I'm just trying to make it as easy as possible to people to understand it and then see what we can do with it. But hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, anything else you want to say about this board and kit, like that people should know if they want to purchase it? Like what are the, because even when I got it from you, I purchased it. I didn't get personal installation instructions. I kind of had to know what I was wiring up. But yeah, in terms of disclaimers or videos, and you have a YouTube channel, by the way, I probably should plug that too. So you do have a channel that shows kind of your stuff as well.
Yeah,
But for people that are interested in this kit, like what would you say to them about wiring it up and other tips?
I would say that number one, I do want to offer more like do-it-yourself kits.
Yes,
Number two,
awesome.
I do have a kit on my website where it comes with a power supply and it'll be wired up to the power supply. So the only thing you'd have to do is put your button into it, and then it basically goes in between where your button is going to the computer now, and you cut those wires and put them into those two edges. So that would be it.
Nice. Yeah, that would be the more turnkey you can provide solutions, Phil. I think more people would be drawn to it. So that's one thing to think about as well. And the other potential solution that I implemented on my Legends Pinball cab is now that the flippers would be permanently set to hit every single time your cab is on, right? Then if you're playing your PC or something else where you don't want it to, I wired up a separate switch to like actually turn it off and on. So if that's something that you can figure out a way to add that in where there would be a switch to turn it off and on that people could install themselves. Essentially, I just cut this wire that was going directly into the solenoid and then added a switch between this line here, and then that made my solution work. But is that something that you might consider as well?
You had me thinking about that. So yeah, I'd be interested from the people that are watching now if they'd be interested in an option to be able to turn it on and off too, because that is something that I could add and maybe make it easier. Like it'd just be like another terminal output, right? Where you could just put 2 wires into it and then have a switch that you could just turn it on and off.
Yeah. So, I mean, somebody says, I'm sold. How much for 2? So the kit is $50, right? For no. For the just the board is $50, but for the kit with the solenoids is how much? I'll let you.
It's $90, I believe. Yeah. For everything put together, kind of, it's $90. With the power supply, I think it's another 20 on top of that. So
yeah,
it'd be 110 for like everything. But you can provide your own power supply if you want, you know. And if you don't see something that if you're like, hey, I want this differently or whatever, just send me a message and I can like figure something out with you.
So I'll give you some advice in terms of offering so many options, right? To make it easier on yourself, I would consider putting together like the package, like a minimalist package and an all together package, and that's it. Because otherwise, if you provide so many options, it'll be more work for you to do little individual things, which I think is great from a customer service standpoint. But from a fulfillment standpoint, you'll be like, what, this person wanted this person and this person didn't want it. So I would do like an all-in-one package and then the bare bones one. So that way you can kind of satisfy.
Yeah, that's a good point. And right now I'm only getting like, 1 or 2 orders a day or every other day, but after this maybe it won't be so much like that.
it still will add up to it, but yeah, you want to hear it again. So somebody was asking how loud it is. I'll put it right up next to the microphone. It's pretty clicky. Like when this is put into the actual cap, it fires pretty hard, almost to the point where my Legends Pinball accelerometer actually goes off when the solenoids are flipping. So I have to turn the accelerometer sensitivity down so it doesn't automatically shake my pinball. Because the first time I finally got both of them wired up, I was like, oh crap, it's nudging. Did I have my sensitivity going? And so, because there's a built-in accelerometer on the Legends Pinball that was registered in the device on the wall.
I've had a few people say that. And like, it does, it shakes more when you mount it to the table. Like when you're holding it in your hand, it's like, because it's like moving your hand, it's not as powerful, but when you mount it to the side, it's like really, you can feel it.
Yeah, it feels really awesome. So somebody wanted to know about the Solenoid Life Extender board. So you have a couple other products on your table too. So what is this?
Oh yeah. So you can see one right here. This is it right here. This is a standalone board that I do sell in a standalone product. But that one just goes in between your power supply and your solenoids. So if you maybe you already have, a virtual pinball setup with these solenoids and you're having issues with them overheating, then you could buy just that Solenoid Life Extender board, and it would essentially hook in between your power supply and the output of your controller, really.
So that's kind of like this ceramic coil that's reducing the heat, that making this like get really hot, right? That's essential. So by extending the life, you're reducing the heat transfer that goes into this guy right here. The
other really nice part about it is that typically you need a really high power supply, like probably like 350 watts or something, to power 8 solenoids. Well, with the Life Extender, since it reduces the current so much, you really only need like 100 watts to power 150 watts to power 8 solenoids, which is nice too.
Yeah, very cool.
It's green too.
Yeah, saving less power, and again, however you choose to mod your devices is up to you. But again, these are great turnkey solutions. And for those that are watching in chat, just for that last kind of question, like, would you be interested in a flipper kit that had an option to turn off and on through a switch? Put a 1 in the chat if you would like to see Phil come up with a solution for this, or 0 if you don't even care and you don't even want this. So let me do a quick informal survey if we can get some folks that are interested in a switch output that could be added into the board, or another solution too, because then they'd have to mount their switch somewhere else, right, onto their board, drill something else, or into their cab itself. So we'll see what people are interested in. But any other feedback that you're looking for from the community on these? Because you've sold several full kits, you've sold these. Like, is there something that you've been curious about in terms of feedback for your products?
I'm definitely interested in what ideas people have for other products, because I like coming up with the ideas, the product ideas, more than anything, really. That's where all the fun is. So I don't know if I have a specific question, but like one thing that I'm looking to add, I think I talked about the SaneSmart board that I upgraded a bit. I'm looking to add like the KLZ board instead. So it'd add like the support for nudge, and it would add support to add like a what is it? No, I'm losing the plunger support onto there. Yeah, and a lot more outputs and inputs and everything like that. So,
all right, nobody wanted to switch. My informal survey failed, but that's okay. Danilo is here, and he says, "I have Phil's kit, and it is awesome." So maybe this is one of your customers that you know. He's helped you with your shaker motor kit and knocker. So I mean, you've got some fans in here. So and then Tom was here. Maybe you came a little bit late. So you're showing out of stock on eBay. But tell everybody that are just joining, how soon are you gonna have your products back?
Yeah, probably 2 to 3 weeks. Probably 3 weeks, closer than 2, because it looks like I was looking at when I'm gonna get the stuff. It looks like around August 2nd. So
okay.
Should be pretty soon. Just hang tight if you're waiting for it. Sorry, I can't do anything about not having the parts, but
yeah. So do you pre-build them and then just put up for sale what you've already made, or have you thought about doing a pre-order system so that you know how many parts to buy and stuff?
I would love to add all that stuff in. It's just a matter of time to be able to like build that onto my website. I really just use Squarespace to host my website. I don't like to. Here I am. I'm a programmer, right? And I don't even make my own website.
Yeah, that's okay, man. Yeah, I mean, you're still putting your product out there, which is awesome. So yeah, hang tight for when it's available. But if there is demand, Phil, you might think about it, right? Because then you can take it to order, and then that way you can set expectations for people that want it, and they can order it, and then you give them like, hey, it'll be a 2 to 3 week turnaround time, and it's more of like a customization thing that you set expectations for. So that way you don't have to pre-build it and then sell it, but then you can know the interest and engage it from there, and then work with your client base that way. So think about it. Might be an option for you. All right. So came late. Thanks for the update. Thanks, Tom. So we talked about the flipper kit. We talked about some other updates you have going on. Then they'll say, do a Kickstarter. But there's more. There's more. But wait, there's more. So if we've talking about adding flipper, if you wanted to do a full-on mod with a PC and you wanted to do your own virtual pinball cab running VPX, Future Pinball, FX3 or anything, you can get this kit from Phil too, which some people were mentioning, and it's not the flipper kit. It looks like this, and it's a beast. It's a monster. This is a 6 solenoid kit that you made for a client that I'm going to bring on board in just a second. But you sell kind of full on like drop-in kits, if you will, that can be put into any machine. So talk about this drop-in kit and the service that you do for making like this big board here, and what does it do?
Sure. And this is really where I started, because again, it was basically me like spending time building everything, putting it together. And then I was like, hey, you know what? It'd be nice to offer this to people so that they could do it themselves, because there's a lot of people who want it, but you don't want to go through all the details of actually putting it together. So that's when I did this, and I started selling it on eBay, and then I put it on my own website. And it looks nice. Looks nice on my table, actually.
And this was dropped into an Arcade1Up mod, and I'm gonna bring him on in just a second. Was a previous client of yours named Rickey Weazz, who was looking at this and was saying, "Is this gonna work?" And you built this pretty much custom, like for his dimensions, right? So when you get stuff like this, these orders, you can make this fit into any cab, right? For the most part?
Pretty much, yeah, because I'll do like as little as 4 solenoids and as many as 8. That's what I offer right now. And of course you get the SaneSmart replica board. It's actually a SaneSmart board that I built. It's like an upgrade from the SaneSmart. The power supply and the solenoid life extenders and all the solenoids. And then all you do is plug it into your USB port on your computer, plug it into your power outlet, and you're good to go.
Boom. And then there's a couple of instructions on how to do it yourself from that point. But Phil also went the next level and did something for my next guest where he provided some additional service. So I'm going to bring him on right now just so we can talk about some of the extended services that Phil provides. Mr. Rickey Weazz, what's going on, man?
Hey guys, how are you? Good to be on. Thank you guys for everything.
Yeah, Rickey has been an arcade fan in general, right? And big music fan, but you've been modding your stuff. I've been seeing you really working on your own mods. And when you wanted to
Yeah.
do virtual pinball, you wanted to mod your Arcade1Up. And you were one of the first people that introduced me to Phil's work and getting it working in your Arcade1Up Marvel pinball cap. So tell me about your experience testing out Phil's product and having it work in your pinball machine.
Well, one of the biggest things was when we first got into the building the caps is like, how can I get the force feedback to be stronger? The solenoids that came with the 1-up were not bad. They weren't bad at all. But as all of us in the community, what do we want? We want stronger. We want to feel it. Mm-hmm. So just sitting around, just searching and searching and searching, and I came across Phil's eBay link, and that's when I had sent it to you guys in the community. Say, hey guys, what do you think? And everyone was like, oof, I don't know, you know. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take the chance, and I took the chance, and thank God I took the chance. And not only is the feedback so intense, but it's so precision, and you know, thank God for someone like Phil. For me, you know, I'm a lazy modder. I want easy. I want plug-in. You know, I have a young son. I just don't have the time to really dedicate to go through all that. So to have someone, Phil, that, you know, I thank him so much for taking his time to be able to jump on my PC. He helped me configure it, and it was just instant. Plugged in, he came in, done. And matter of fact, the shaker motor was already pre-configured to his Dolph scripting. So I put it in, and then literally, and you guys saw the video, as soon as that thing started shaking and rumbling, I sent it to all you guys, and everybody in the community of our group was like, wow. And for me, something like that, not only the customer service, but the product quality is something, you know, us that we love. And it's so hard to come about because a lot of us in the community don't have the time. You know, we love this hobby so much, but we don't have the time to really sit there and tinker. So I'm just, you know, the living example of, you know, when you find someone like Phil, you hold on to him. Because, you know, it's so tough, you know, and I thank him, and I thank you guys, you know, for everyone in the community and helping him out and supporting him, and it's been an incredible journey.
Yeah, so you heard the testimonial straight off, Phil. How do you feel? You feeling good? You are providing joy to people out there. Doesn't it feel like you finally made a difference in the world?
That is amazing. I can't believe how good that sounds. Definitely could have said that better myself. But yeah, I do love, it's a hobby for me. And that's what I told Rickey too, because he's like, oh man, I feel so bad I'm using your time. And I'm like, well, you know, I like this stuff, you know, this is what I do. So I like making other people happy by allowing them to enjoy it too. It really is just a hobby for me.
Yeah, and so somebody was asking if DOF is needed. So it is using direct output configuration, and so like the VPX tables have all been pre-programmed to fire either through solenoids or shaker motor. So as long as you set it up appropriately, it works. But some of that configuration is still funky, like knowing how to make sure your direct output folders are set up and getting the actual direct output config file is tricky. And so Phil's extra service, if you bought that full kit, this whole kit, which is drop-in, you can put it into your Arcade1Up pinball machine. You can put it into your Legends pinball machine. You can put it into your own DIY kit. Phil offers the service to remote in and actually do the configuration, which I was like, wow, that's extra time for you, Phil, to do that at an extra level beyond what you're paying, beyond the parts that you did, the customization. So there's extreme value in what you're offering to the community, Phil. And so Rickey stated it, and you have a really big fan in the chat, Danilo, that's talking about it, that it's a pretty awesome kit. So talk about that kit, what it is, what options you have, how much it is. So, because people were kind of curious about what it is.
Sure, yeah. So I offer it, on my website. You can see it there. There's different configuration options. I think the full configuration 8 solenoid kit is $380. And I am coming out with that, and this is what I want to push more than anything, is a kind of a more do-it-yourself option where I supply all the parts and instructions on how to put it together yourself. So if you want to, have fun putting it together and trying it out, then you can do that.
That's right.
And that's my old pinball machine up there on the top.
So yeah, this is the Slipper Solenoid control board. That's $50 from $50, but this is the complete kit, up to 8 solenoids right there. So this is the kit that we were talking about. But these are the things people were saying. It's like, Phil, it's sold out. People were saying you need to put a notification out there because we're talking about it, and now they're hearing about it. Now they're excited. So think about putting an email list or something. But three weeks, guys, in terms of when the parts are going to be there. But it will be back. I asked Phil before I did the show. I was like, you can't do the show and then tell people it's going to be 100% sold out. But no, it will be worth the wait. The juice will be worth the squeeze. But if you want to do a DIY kit version of it, or Phil's ultimate full service kind of work, like this kit for $340, like $400 to get all the supplies, plus having him remote into your PC to do the actual work, my goodness, that time alone would be worth it. But the fact you're getting all this set up is an extreme value to it. So consider it. I mean, I can't just stress enough that there's a lot of good work that's done into this. And now that I know what this board is, this middle board here, because you got me confused, Phil, you developed your own Saint Smart board. And I was like, that doesn't look like anything I've ever seen before. That looks like a janky replica, but now I get what you did.
Yeah, it's the same chipset as the Saint Smart, but I replaced the regular relays with solid state relays, so there's no arcing anymore. And so really, your life expectancy was much better with that board than with the regular Saint Smart board. That's why I did it.
Nice, very cool. Do you offer that board alone too?
I do. Yeah, it's on the website.
It's on the website.
Also sold out.
Also sold out. Dang it! All right, 8-position relay board right here that registers as a Saint Smart board. Okay, cool. Because I bought one for myself. I'm very familiar with the Saint Smart board because that's what I'm using in my mods too. And then like you have your solder solenoids here as well. Did you play with the contactors before you got into this solenoid just to see the differences and what?
I did use a couple of different kinds. I didn't go like crazy and try a whole bunch of different ones, but I did try a few of them, and that one did end up being the best one. Actually, I even opened them up and looked at how they were built on the inside, and I saw like there was one. I mean, it's amazing. There's like these red ones that are really popular that are sold a lot, and the winding on the red ones is like messy. It's all over the place, and on these black ones, it's nice and tight and wound really well, and so the magnetic response from it is just much better. The electromagnet works much better in it.
Yeah.
And I have a video showing that.
There it is.
The
difference in solenoids for virtual DOF setups. I don't think my sound is on to show this, but yeah, check out Phil's website or YouTube channel. I also have it linked in the description as well, so you guys can always check that out and see some content directly from Phil about his products. But we're talking about the DIY kit. So, Rickey, you have your pinball machine in the background. Any chance we can see some demo of it, like firing live, so people can get a sense of the shaking, the flippers, and all that good stuff? The shaker motor is separate. So by the way, you have to get that on your own, but it can hook up into it. But
with Phil's configuration is that once you put it in, it's already pre-configured with his dock configuration. So you're plug and play.
Yes.
So all right, so let's go. Let's give it let's go.
Do it.
Get everything set up. I'll just my lovely wife
this
give
makes
you a
me
little
happy.
tour of the room.
Oh yeah, let's see. I'm gonna make you big then. So we're gonna get a tour of Rickey's room. There it is. Oh, look at that artwork, man. I love it when people put that much time into their displays and things. Good stuff.
All right, so let me get this fired up. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can still hear you. Are those all guitars you play?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All of them. Oh yeah. There's a lot more. If she pans over, you'll see now. It just goes and goes and goes.
All right, amazing, man. Look at that collection, dude. That's awesome. I got it. Where can I find your music? Where can I promote Rickey Weazz guitar playing hero? Guitar
music
hero.
Out there. I'm a retired musician.
Retired musician.
Me and my wife just at the weekends she plays drums. I'll play guitar with her too. A little setup there for her as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, nice.
Rickey, I'm a drummer.
Oh, you're a drummer too?
I'm a drummer, yeah.
All right, we got to get the Phil Rickey show next time where we can like actually jam. And I will go get my glockenspiel and I'll just be like clicking while you guys are jamming. So there it is. All right, so Rickey put together a fully modded A1Up pinball, almost like the Cool Toy mod that you followed, right?
Can you see it? Yeah. hold on. Let's see. There. I'm gonna try to bring it closer. So we'll just do it real quick.
All right, so he's got a.
The one that works the best with the shaker motor, especially. Hold on, give me a second. Is Cactus Canyon. That's the one that really like pops off harder.
We're getting some demo right now for people that are looking up. He's got Popper in the background. He's got a setup going with. Gotta work on your media. But yeah, that's always the tough part on the front end.
There's a lot of stuff I need to do in this thing. And that's the beauty of it. This thing never ends. You're always fiddling. All right, here we go.
There it is.
I am now loading.
So I'm gonna put the volume a little bit lower so you can really hear them go off.
So yeah, so this is A1Up, but again, it completely replaced with Phil's solenoid kit and a shaker motor. And I don't know if your painting or your pictures fall off the wall when it shakes, but my room shakes a lot when my shaker motor's going. Oh yeah, that's hitting.
You can definitely hear it. Yeah,
I know. Ooh.
So there's the shaker just went off. You'll feel it shake now. And so you gotta hit the little.
Even the bumpers.
Don't lose the ball.
I know. Now the pressure's on. You're live on YouTube.
Oh, all right.
And you drained. All right.
Let's get it so you can really hear the shake.
Oh.
All right. 2 words. Get good. We're watching.
Here we go.
While he's doing that, I will say.
There it goes.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's kind of hard to
I heard it a little bit there.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see a shaker motor in action. It's one of those things you can't. I couldn't explain it the first time I installed my shaker motor, but even the sounds of your solenoids flickering on the bumpers and the flippers, yeah, you can feel that. You just heard the rumble right now. It's awesome. That is way louder than the contactors are added. So Phil, I might be replacing my kit with yours. I spent a lot of time wiring my contactors in, and then once I've got your flippers set up, and I was like, regret, but it's okay. I think there'll be some interesting people that will be interested in your kit.
All right.
All right, Phil, you were gonna say something?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, like, when you get my kit, I can remote into your computer. I also provide instructions. So, a lot of people are, can log into the computer and set up DOF. It's very it's like super simple step-by-step instructions. I think it's like 5 steps or something. So I don't have to log into your computer, but that is a service I will provide if you run into issues. I've had some really interesting, issues on some people's computers where it's like DOF is not working right because they have like two installations of DOF running at the same time in the computer and things like that. So I can resolve those kinds of issues too.
Yeah, nice. Very cool. Awesome. So just putting this back up here so we all can see. Some people were asking, gonna be refreshing Phil's website until it's back in stock. So
I will say this too. I have like a list of like 8 people that I'm set to email when I'm back in stock. If you want to be notified, just send me a message in the contact us section there, and I'll save your email away, and then I'll just blast an email out to everyone who wants to know when stock is back.
Awesome.
And I should have enough parts to fulfill all the orders once they are back in stock. So.
All right, Ricky, I'm gonna mute your background just because there's a little bit of background noise for right now. Okay, cool. All right, the full kit is legit. Solenoids are loud. Dylan knows. He's right. So somebody says, come on, Phil, use your programming skills to get a good notified button on your website, please. So
I might do that, but we'll see. I don't know.
He's like, contact this. It's all about the timing for it.
So everyone knows, I also have 6 kids. So
well, you're a busy man, okay? But thank you for helping us with our hobbies and things. But man, that's awesome. So Ghosty was like, let me get this right. I can add to my flippers and it'll fire off my solenoid with any others required. So there's 2 different versions of what we're talking about. So one of these is a direct solenoid to your flipper that'll just go off anytime you press it. So if I press this button that's wired, sorry, now my camera's all off. Let me go this way. All right, so now I have this and a button. If I press the button, this is gonna go off, which is a physical button. The thing that we just had with Ricky, it's a full kit that those solenoids are now firing through the DOF program that VPX or anything else is running to. So kind of 2 separate products, but using kind of the same circuit board technology pieces of stuff to go.
Yeah. Oh, one other thing that's probably good to note is I have had people purchase the full kit and just the flipper solenoid boards. If you do that, I'll wire the boards into your kit. So for the flippers, you'll have the flipper feedback that'll work on everything. But then when you activate DOF, it'll work with all the other solenoids as well. The nice part about that is it also opens up 2 extra ports so that you can hook up like a shaker motor and a knocker or something like that if you want to too.
See, I totally should have got with you like 3 months ago. I was like, crap, now I'm like really regretting my life choices for spending all the time with my Legends Pinball mod. But that's okay. That's okay. I plan on releasing my full showcase for my Legends Pinball Star Trek mod that I did. I modded a Legends Pinball into a Star Trek The Next Generation theme cab. So I did a lot of work on the inside with surround sound feedback and put contactors. And then I was like, I'm going to use these for the stock flippers. And now I want to use this for everything. But now I have a double flipper now because I have the contactors set for the flippers. And then I was testing it like, does this override those flippers? And and they fire near the same time. There's like a slight delay, but these sound so much better, man. Like, oh, I can't recommend the sound and quality of these solenoids more than the DIY contactors that I use. So maybe I did something wrong and they don't hit as hard, but they were just not as impressive as these guys. These starter solenoids. You did good, Phil. You did good.
Thanks, man.
All right. So, Phil, an email was sent. Somebody asked if they could be sent to Australia. Do you do international shipping?
I have.
Not free shipping international. You would?
Yeah, I mean, if you buy it through eBay, because eBay at least makes it a little bit easier to do international shipping.
Okay.
And the only issue is I'm not the best packer in the world. So the kits, they fit in
I know. I'm just kidding.
One thing I will say, if anything breaks, I will replace it. No charge. I'll ship it free, everything. So, the one I tried the different configurations of packing, but the shipping goes up so much as soon as I start putting it in a bigger box. And so I'm just better off putting it in a smaller box and shipping it and hoping
bubble wrap
Yeah.
and static free bags, man. So, that's good. Danilo was saying he doesn't recommend putting this in Arcade1Up, but people could put it into whatever they want. So I would say for folks, I have an Arcade1Up behind me that I'm still working on modding to with the stock stuff. Oh, thank you, Ricky, by the way, who gave me, since he got your kit, he sent me his stock ones because like I don't need these for anything, and I was gonna mess around with them. But now I might reconsider and get your kit for that one too. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing with this one. I'm probably gonna sell it. Probably gonna wire it up for somebody else. But Arcade1Up, they work in anything. So use whatever you have. But it does work with the Zac pack. If you get the flipper, if you get these, it'll work with any of the stock Legend stuff. So absolutely, it would work. Them solenoids just slap. Somebody just sent an email to you. PC only with VPX FX3. They do work with that. That green Ibanez Iceman guitar looks amazing. What's the plant pattern? We got a question for Ricky. What is this?
That is a limited edition Jay Younger. He was the lead guitarist for Rob Zombie, for White Zombie back in the day. And they only released a couple of them. And I had searched for about 17 years. It took me to get that guitar.
Yeah.
And I found it. So what it is, it's the Iceman edition with the white stars around the body. And it's a green sparkle body.
Yeah, that's awesome. We got another question about somebody that loves the Sunburst Gibson too. You got some fans. You got to do a game room tour, man, or like what do you call it? Is that your music room?
That's the studio cave.
Studio cave. I like it, man. And then we gotta get Ricky and Phil on the drums to hear some stuff. I'm down to start hosting some concerts and things. Can get going on. But yeah, all right. So Phil, what's next on the horizon now? So you kind of pre-mentioned, some potential Pinscape or the KL25Z board that you're going to add in it. What is that going to look like in terms of offering? Is that going to be an all-in-one kit, just the board itself, a differentiated version?
I'm probably going to add that board to the all-in-one kit. So, we got this, where this board is now, I would just replace it with the KL25Z and then you'd have all the extra outputs on there and inputs in there so that you can kind of expand your whole system or setup however you wanted to after the fact. So that would be one option. I kind of thought about, what to do, because it's going to cost a little bit more for me to make than that one. So I might offer it as like an upgrade to it, which again, more options, like you said, are not good, but I don't know what to do. So I could sell it separately too. And so, there's a lot of things I'm thinking about with that. I'm still designing the board. I don't have it all designed yet, so I need to decide exactly how it's going to happen. But then once I have that done, I might go into the light bar area. Maybe I'll sell some light bars that plug into the kit.
Ooh. So whatever you think about, so the more quote unquote plug and play you can do, I think you will find an audience for it too. So definitely check out Phil's website for some DIY parts. And I know you don't have some of these commercial Vpin cabs that are available, right? But the Legends Pinball is ripe for folks to mod. There's a ton of open space that you can drop things into with a 32-inch playfield and the back glass. And so there's people that are looking for easy upgrades. And if you can provide it, I think $100 for even the flipper kit is a wonderful addition that people can do very easily. And people would gravitate to that as the simplest solution. You can go more, you can do everything else that Rickey went through. But for $100, a flipper solenoid upgrade kit, highly recommend. And I can't wait to get this installed and do a full-on video for it. But exciting to hear you got extra stuff.
So I have a question for Rickey. Can you tell me the difference between my solenoids and the stock solenoids you had in your kit?
Oh my god, it's night and day. I mean, not that the 1-up ones are bad. I mean, for what you're getting that setup, it's good. But what do we want? We want more power, and you're the man that supplies the power. And remember, I went down. His was 8, and I went to 6 to fit the 1-up. And honest to God, you can go with the full 8. There is the room there for the 8. But at 6, with the table for the 1-up, it shakes, it rattles, it hums. It's awesome. I'm very happy I did it.
And I actually agree with that. Like the 6 solenoid setup, in my opinion, I know some people really like the 10 setup where you've got like them aligned properly in the table and everything, but for me, I always think the 6 solenoid setup is actually really decent. It's really good. So I don't even see that big of a difference.
Because like the positional sound when they're hitting that hard is like not that different, like the 2 to 3 inches it would be in a tighter space. If you have a full size 50-inch Vpin cab, right, that you want that spaced out, I can see that making more sense for the positional sounds. But when you're in a tighter space, like especially the Arcade1Up, or even the Legends Pinball is really tight where I have mine set up, you're right, like a 6 solenoid feedback where you can still register the back sensors to like that same flipper or that same solenoid. It's just popping from that same general area. So you're right. I think that's a great point there for sure. So Agent Smith, yes. So this flipper set for adding this into your Legends for whatever, this is a complete flipper solenoid kit that's available for $90 plus shipping, so about $110 or so. I would recommend getting them from the website direct. You could also get them from his eBay store as well, but I'm trying to plug the site as much as you can. But you just got to work on your notifications, Phil. People, you have demand now. People want to know.
Thanks for that.
People want to know. Make a shaker motor kit. Is that something that you would consider?
I have some parts sitting back here that I might make a shaker motor kit someday. It's like I have so many things I want to do, but no time to do it. Yeah.
Danilo just has all the things: LED matrix kit, addressable LEDs, do a beacons kit, do it all. Just kidding. Yeah.
It's all about time. Like I said, I have 6 kids. I got a big family, and it's like the only time I work on this stuff is like midnight to 1 in the morning or something. That's like my time. Yeah,
Rickey, for your playfield is a 32-inch playfield, right? So that's not the stock one, correct?
No, I did the 32 Cool Toy upgrade.
Yeah, which specific monitor was it? With the same one that he used?
The same one, the LG.
All right, so check out Cool Toy's 32-inch mod video to get the details on which playfield he used. So Jason was asking about situations with the solenoid life extenders be necessary. So that's built into that kit that you have, right? That's just making the solenoids not heat up. But so
those are for people who already have solenoid like these same solenoids in their machine, and they're like they want to prevent them from overheating. So you can just add that to any machine, whether you've got Pinscape or any kit really. It'll add in between the kit and the solenoids themselves.
Awesome. Thanks, Phil. Thank you, Ricky, so much for this conversation talking about solenoids, the easiest solenoid upgrade you could do to your Vpin kit. I will say it now, whether it's these flipper ones or the kit that Ricky did, you will not find an easier solution to add solenoid feedback into your Vpin kit. Yes, you can do it yourself, but this drop kit is going to be off the hook, Phil, once you get them back in stock. That's the key. And a really quick plug before I ask you guys any last things. Mod Wars is happening for folks that didn't catch my last video and you see the background there. We are hosting a competition for somebody building whatever you want, as long as you use the Legends Connect board. So definitely check out Mod Wars if you haven't. So I'll turn it to Ricky first. Ricky, any last things you want to plug and say before we head out?
No, just thank you guys for everything. And my plug is to Phil and to you. I mean, all your work you guys do for the community. As me, as a person who's just a regular guy, I mean, without you guys, I'd be so lost. And I just want to take the time to appreciate all the people that dedicate their time, you know, especially with families, to do this stuff for us. And I'm a living example without, you know, you guys. This is what you can do, you know, and it can be done.
And full service too. Phil did it all. So thank you. Awesome, Ricky. Phil, how about you? Any last things you want to plug and mention before we end the stream?
All I want to say is, yeah, thanks a lot for having me today. It's great to get to know you and everyone in the community too. And yeah, if anyone has any other questions, send me an email. I love talking pinball. So
yeah,
send me an email. I'll always respond.
Phil, you're one of the nicest guys I've spoken to in a long time in terms of being able to put this together. And so it was a pleasure chatting with you. For folks that are just coming here, this is exactly what we've been talking about. You got a button that goes into your pinball machine. You have this solenoid. This button turns this on, and it also sends the flipper sound. And that's all you need. That's it. That's the simplest thing you need to get this going. So you need an AOP tutorial. Don't worry, Agent Smith. I'm actually going to be doing a tutorial of installing this probably into Bobby Vu's pinball machine. So I had asked Phil for a separate one. So I'm going to install these onto a stock AOP and do a full tutorial just so you can see how easy this is. Give me a little bit of, maybe a week or so I can get over to Bobby's because I don't have any more AOPs to mod. But you could win one if you do Mod Wars. Phil, if you're interested in joining the competition, you can win a Legends pinball machine. I don't know if you need one, but I'm sure you could do it. I'll send you details. We can get you involved. So people are saying, awesome. Thanks for having this. Brainy Bit says he's sold. Thanks for the live stream. We all like plug and play. And what's the cost? The cost is, all right, I'll let you do one last plug, Phil. What's the cost?
Those guys are $90 for all assembled, $50 not assembled.
$90. And if you get it from his website, free shipping. I saw that, right?
Yeah, the boards are free shipping. Yeah.
Oh, boards are free shipping.
Things gotta pay for shipping still.
Got it. Yeah. All right. Any discount codes for the Kongs or Us suggestions or anything? Can we put something together?
I might be able to put something together. Yeah, let me see what I can
All right.
do.
So for folks that are listening to the stream, tell them that Kongs or Us sent you. And you might be able to get a high five with your solenoid kit, or maybe something a little extra. Who knows? But we'll talk, Phil. Appreciate you for being here. We appreciate all you guys for joining the thing. Yeah, extremely fair, Virtual Adello. $90 for a solenoid kit. Nobody else is offering this, and it works with everything. Arcade1Up, Legends Pinball, your own DIY. It's amazing. All right, so hang tight. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.